At a speaking engagement in Washington Wednesday, Russian President Dmitry Medvedev raised the prospect of a civil war in Kyrgyzstan, where the new interim leader has threatened to put ousted President Kurmanbek Bakiev and members of his family on trial.
There will certainly be more violence in Kyrgyzstan. There are different clans that have different geographies and different portions of the economy under their control. But there's a mountain range between them. It's very difficult to have a civil war between two groups that can't physically interact.
Welcome to Dispatch. I'm Marla Dial. President Bakiev fled the capital during last week's revolt, which has brought an apparently pro-Russian government to power in Bishkek, and sought refuge in his native Jalalabad. Kyrgyzstan's geography would impede any type of armed violence between regions, but Medvedev's statement wasn't without logic.
The Russians do have a vested interest in making the situation look worse, much worse than it is, because the worse the situation, the more desperate the government, the easier it is for the Russians to insert their own forces and, for all practical purposes, take control. That's going to cause a problem for any of the other regional powers, such as Uzbekistan or China, and of course any country that might be dependent upon an airbase somewhere in the country.
But could there be more violence between opposing factions in the capital itself?
There's a constellation of forces that do support the government. The Russians were quite thorough when they were putting together this coalition to make sure it had enough support from different parts of the country to function. And so the prime minister is actually from the south.